Hello viewers, all pediatricians of Indian Academy of Pediatrics. You are all welcome in Dr. Tuteya Talk Show. Today's our guest speaker is a young dynamic pediatrician, super specialist in bone marrow transplantation in Indore. Proud moment for us that we are introducing our own talent from Indore. A bone marrow transplant in children, a common questions we are going to ask her. She is MBBS, MD, Fellowship in Critical Training in BMT in Hematology Oncology, Associate Professor, Department of Pediatrics, Indore, Bone Marrow Transplant Consultant, MGM Medical College, Indore. She is, her interest is pediatric hemato-oncology, bone marrow transplant, pediatric intensive care. Her major achievements are running the pediatric hemato-oncology department in MGM Medical College, Indore since 2018. Performed 100 bone marrow transplant in children till now. Wow. Awards, multiple publication in national and international journals, authorized chapter in 4 books. Mahatma Gandhi Medical Memorial Center, College Center has been in the World Book Record. Our aim of life to update the society from Dr. Tuteya Talk Show to introduce you the young talents of Indian Academy of Pediatrics to the public of our own country, that is India. Your suggestion, comments are always welcome to improve for us. If you like our channel that we are serving you, please subscribe the channel to help us. I welcome Dr. Prachi to start her session. She is most welcome in Dr. Tuteya Talk Show. You can slide share, Dr. Prachi.
Yes, sir. Hello.
No, not yet. Double click the full screen. Yes, it is available.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, available.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for this kind introduction, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of this show. Thank you, sir.
You are most welcome. It is a pleasure for us to introduce you to the audience of our own country and rest of the world. My first question, rather query, is from the public. What is bone marrow and what are its functions? Let public to know what is bone marrow after all.
So basically, bone marrow is the spongy part which is present in all our flat and long bones. जो हड्डियों का बीच में गूदा होता है ना, जिसको हिंदी में अस्थि मज्जा भी बोलते हैं, that is called bone marrow.
Hmm.
And it has two parts, the red marrow and the yellow marrow. Yellow marrow is mostly fat. The red marrow is actually factory where all our blood cells are produced. हमारे blood के अंदर different type of cells होती हैं, all the doctors would know, but mainly red blood cells जिसकी वजह जिसमें hemoglobin होता है, platelets which help blood from bleeding, and WBCs. WBCs are of various types. उसमें immune system, the lymphocytes are a major component of immune system. So bone marrow has this major function of maintaining all the components of blood and a healthy immune system.
So what is bone marrow and how it is transplanted then?
So bone marrow is actually a tissue. It is not an organ. जैसे liver या kidney, that's a solid organ, but bone marrow is a tissue. And bone marrow transplant actually is a misnomer. When we are saying bone marrow transplant, we are actually transplanting the hematopoietic stem cells. So there is a hemato all the blood cells are produced from a stem cell, that is a hematopoietic stem cell, and actually the correct name for bone marrow transplant is HSCT or hematopoietic stem cell transplant. So in simple words, what we do whenever the bone marrow of a person is diseased or there is some defect, we use chemotherapy to wipe out their own bone marrow. We don't use a surgical procedure to finish that bone marrow. High dose chemotherapy and immunotherapy is used to finish that bone marrow. And then we use a donor's new hematopoietic stem cells and we transfuse those stem cells into the bone marrow patient, and new RBCs, new WBCs, all the new blood cells, and even a new immune system is created in the recipient. So that is what bone marrow transplant is, and in technical words we can describe it as it is infusion of adequate amount of viable hematopoietic stem cells which are potentially sufficient to engraft, sustain long-term hematopoiesis, and substitute the immune system in the receptive host. So
So
here,
how it is different?
yes,
How it is different from the kidney transplant or other transplantation which is done in our country and abroad?
yeah. So solid organ transplants, या kidney, liver, heart, any transplant, that is a surgical procedure in which you are surgically removing the organ from another donor and then putting it in the recipient. But in bone marrow transplant, no such surgery is taking place. Rather, we use high dose chemotherapy to ablate the existing bone marrow. And here we are also creating a new immune system because we are also transplanting the lymphocytes. So here we don't need lifelong immune suppression. जैसे kidney transplant, liver transplant में patient has to be on lifelong immunosuppressive therapy. Otherwise जो patient का अपना immune system है that is going to attack the donor organ. But bone marrow transplant में you need immunosuppression only for a limited time period, maybe 1 year, 2 years, and later on you are free from all the medications. बट किडनी एंड लिवर ट्रांसप्लांट में आपको उतना स्ट्रिक्ट HLA टाइपिंग इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड जितना बोन मैरो ट्रांसप्लांट में टाइट HLA मैचिंग रिक्वायर्ड होता है. एंड बोन मैरो ट्रांसप्लांट में यू कैन target multiple diseases of the blood which are cured by bone marrow transplant.
So in which condition this procedure bone marrow transplant is done? Rather the uh, more than leukemia and other thing, is it done in all the hematological conditions?
Yes, so bone marrow transplant have multiple indications. Bone marrow की किसी भी प्रॉब्लम में there can be an infiltrative defect, cancers, so definitely leukemias, जिसमें there is a defective cell, so we can replace that cell. Especially if there is a genetic defect like hemoglobinopathies, thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, जिसमें there is a genetic defect and properly hemoglobin and red blood cells are not formed. In that case also bone marrow transplant helps. Then especially in aplastic anemia or some congenital bone marrow failure syndromes like Fanconi's anemia, there also the only treatment is bone marrow transplant because your own bone marrow is not working. तो डोनर का बोन मैरो ट्रांसप्लांट देना ही एक इसमें ट्रीटमेंट है. Then multiple immunodeficiency syndromes, they are also cured by bone marrow transplant. Then storage disorders, although for Gaucher's disease there are enzyme replacement therapies are available, still bone marrow transplant can also be an option or curative option for such diseases. And definitely blood cancers and even in solid tumors there is some role of bone marrow transplant, but उसमें autologous bone marrow transplant होता है in solid tumors. So it is slightly different from allogenic bone marrow transplant. But there are multiple indications where bone marrow transplant is the only curative option.
So, do we need a donor for BMT? Always?
Yes, so there are basically two types of transplants: allogenic transplant and autologous transplant. Autologous, जैसा कि the name itself suggests, you take your own stem cells and then give it back. And in allogenic transplant, a donor is needed. So autologous stem cell transplant is more or less a rescue therapy for high dose chemotherapy. In some conditions, in some cancers like in metastatic neuroblastoma or Wilms tumor, or in some other cancers, you need to give such high dose chemotherapy that is going to ablate the patient's bone marrow totally. And so, as a rescue therapy, what we do, before giving high dose chemotherapy, we take the patient's own hematopoietic stem cells and cryopreserve them. Then we give the high dose chemotherapy. The chemotherapy kills the cancer cells as well as the bone marrow of the patient. But after that chemotherapy, we infuse the stored hematopoietic stem cells so the bone marrow starts functioning again. So it is more or less a rescue therapy for high dose chemotherapy. That is autologous transplant in which patient's own cells are used. But in all other genetic conditions, we need a donor whose stem cells can be used to create a new hematopoietic and an immune system in the recipient.
So, who can be the donor?
So there are, so mostly we try that as I said, a tight HLA matching is required. So we do an HLA matching with the recipient and the donor. And if a person is 100% match, the HLA matched with the donor, that is the most suitable donor. And who has the most likelihood of ma- being matched are the siblings. Because everybody gets 50% of their HLA from mother and 50% from father. The siblings have same mother and father, so there are 25% chances कि दोनों को एक ही set of HLA मिला हो. So there are high chances when we match the siblings, there are chances that they can be 100% HLA matched. And if they are matched, then they are called a matched sibling donor, and they are the most ideal donors in case of for the bone marrow transplant. In rare cases, sometimes other family members can also be 100% matched, especially mother and father. Mother and father are 50% matched, but in cases of consanguinity or marriages in close relations, sometimes mother father's HLA is also closely identical, and rarely parents' HLA is also 100% matching with the child. They are called matched family donors. Then there are some bone marrow registries in which voluntary donors register themselves. So we can run these HLA report of the patient in those registries, and if we find a matched donor over there, so they are called matched unrelated donors. They are not related to the patient, but their HLA is matching by chance. And if you don't find a matched donor, then mother and father are definitely 50, at least 50% match, if not higher. So we are also using these, they are called haploidentical donors. And these days, transplant centers are also using haploidentical family donors as donors.
So, what are these registries are? Is it to get the registered themselves that they want to donate the bone marrow or something else, a legal issue?
So bone marrow registries are actually, India is quite behind in that, but worldwide there are many registries. More than 90 worldwide registries are there, जिसमें people voluntarily register themselves. जैसे blood donor होते हैं, ऐसे bone marrow donors भी अपने आप को register. Any healthy person can register themselves, उनका बकल स्वैब लेके उनका HLA का रिकॉर्ड वो रजिस्ट्री में रखते हैं. देन व्हेनेवर एनी पेशेंट अप्रोचेस देम, दे सी उनके पास जितने भी डोनर्स हैं उनमें से किसी से वो मैच हो रहा है क्या. वो इफ इट मैचेस, अगर आपका HLA किसी भी नीडी पेशेंट से मैच होता है तो देन द रजिस्ट्री दे अप्रोच यू कि आपका इस पेशेंट को नीड है एंड आपका HLA से मैच हुआ है, आर यू विलिंग टू डोनेट. At that time, if the person is ready, they can donate. So all over the world, around 420 lakh people have registered themselves as potential bone marrow donors, but this number is very less in India. Only around 7 lakh have registered. And there are some registries, but DATRI and MDRI, Marrow Donor Registry of India, these are two prominent bone marrow registries in India.
So, coming to the thing that I remember that we used to do cord blood banking. Is it different than that? And IAP has released some consensus guideline recently. That can you share your thought on it?
Yes, sir. So before that, let us understand that how we can collect these hematopoietic stem cells. In bone marrow transplant, we are giving new hematopoietic stem cells to the patient. So there are three major sources from where we can collect these cells. One is the bone marrow. So mostly from the iliac crest of the donor, here we can see we collect the bone marrow, we aspirate the bone marrow, and stem cells can be collected like this. Then another way is collecting the hematopoietic stem cells from the peripheral blood. Usually intravenous catheter, HD catheter, it is introduced in the patient in the jugular vein, maybe in the basilic vein, and then through the apheresis machine. The machine selectively chooses, the donor is given some GCSF and some other injections by which the stem cells from the bone marrow come inside the peripheral blood, and using a apheresis machine, those hematopoietic stem cells are collected. So that is another way of collecting the hematopoietic stem cells. And third way is using the umbilical cord, because umbilical cord has very high number of these stem cells. So this umbilical cord stem cells are being preserved by multiple banks, and they can be used theoretically for hematopoietic stem cell transplant. But the drawback here is the umbilical cord has very little volume, only 30 to 40 ml, and the amount of stem cells are also very less in that. If a patient weighs more than 10-20 kgs, then mostly one cord is not enough for that patient. And there are two types of umbilical cord banks, like private and public. In private banking, the patient pays for their own storage, and the cells are going to be used for that own uh, baby or for that family. But while for public banking, it can be used by anyone and it is not a paid program. In private banking, there are very limited indications where there is a chance that you are going to use that hematopoietic stem cells. So, and in public banking it is more or less than bone marrow transplant registry. मतलब अगर किसी का भी HLA उससे मैच होता है तो फिर वो कॉर्ड उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. But nowadays hybrid models are coming up जिसमें it's a mix of private and public. हम अपना स्टोर कर सकते हैं, अगर लेकिन किसी और को ज़रूरत हो तो they can ask your permission and then you can allow that those cells can be used for somebody else. So in short, private cord blood banking is not very, very useful.
So, how successful is the BMT, bone marrow transplantation?
Okay, so
You
success
have
of
done
the
so many cases. You have done so many cases. So, do you have any
success of the
success?
BMT depends on many factors. It depends on the underlying disease. जैसे non-malignant diseases में success is always better than malignant diseases क्योंकि cancers में there is always a risk of relapse even after BMT. Non-malignant diseases like thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, aplastic anemia has a better outcome. Condition of the patient prior to BMT, what the treatment patient has received. जैसे किसी को बहुत high dose chemotherapy already मिला हुआ है, for 3-4 years the child is undergoing chemotherapy, so the organs are already slightly damaged. So all these things uh, influence the success, and type of the donor. Matched sibling donor has very good success rate, and when you come to unrelated donors or haploidentical family donors, then the success rate is low. So, in general, it ranges somewhere between 60 to 90%.
Very good. It's a good number.
Yes.
So we talk about the in India in allopathic medicine, lot of public opinion is about the side effect. For everything they talk about the side effect
Yeah.
rather than the effects which they are getting it. So what are the side effects?
Yes. So to understand the side effects, let us in short go through the steps of bone marrow transplant. What actually happens when we do a bone marrow transplant? So the first step is the patient is chosen, the donor is chosen, and you admit the patient. We admit the patient in the unit, and we put a central venous line, a venous axis. So mostly a Hickman catheter, a tunneled venous catheter is used, and at times, or most of the times in older children, we prefer PICC lines, periphery inserted long lines, central catheters for the transplant. So this is the first step. After that, the patient is prepared. The bone marrow, the patient's body's bone marrow is prepared to accept the donor bone marrow, for which we have to wipe out the patient's own bone marrow. So myeloablation and immunosuppression. Immunosuppression is also required so that the new bone marrow is not rejected by patient's own immune system. So high dose chemotherapy and immunotherapy is given to provide immunosuppression and empty the existing bone marrow. After that, the donor. So this is our one of the donors. This is she's 1 day prior to the harvest. The donor is taken to the operation theater, and there through the iliac crest, the required amount of bone marrow is harvested from the donor. And this is the patient. That bone marrow is just like blood. So it is being collected here in this bag. And then, just like blood transfusion, this bag is transfused to the patient. So the patient does not go to the OT. The donor for bone marrow harvest, there is a short procedure on the donor. And if we are using the PBSCs or peripheral blood cells, then the even then donor does not need to go through this procedure of bone marrow harvest. It can be collected through the central line. So after infusion, then the new stem cells take at least 2 to 3 to 4 weeks at times to grow inside the patient's body. So this period, we have already wiped out patient's own bone marrow, and the new cells are going to take some time to grow. So these 2 to 3 weeks are very critical. The patient is totally neutropenic, has no platelets. So they are very susceptible to infections, bleeding, side effects of chemotherapy, and a lot of supportive care here is needed. So this is one patient in this neutropenic phase, and this is the patient's donor. They are kept in a isolated room, and all supportive therapy is provided to them. Then comes the engraftment phase. The new cells which we put in the body, they start growing. Then we can see neutrophils in the peripheral blood, platelets start growing, and then the patient is discharged. But the immune system takes around 2 to 3 years to fully get developed, the lymphocytes, and they slowly are trained again. And so the patient is kept in regular follow up. Even after discharge, the patient is allowed, has to be in isolation, and we give prophylactic antivirals, antifungals, and we keep the patient in close monitoring for at least a year, and then yearly follow up is continued for a long time. So, based on all these times, there are different side effects. In the early neutropenic phase, as I said, there is risk of infection, organ damage, there can be liver damage, lung injury, and then there are some long-term complications like osteoporosis. Sterility is one of the major complications. If we use high-dose chemotherapy, especially in adolescent age group, then there are some chances of sterility. For that, we either do sperm preservation, and even ova preservation is an option if we are choosing to do bone marrow transplant in that age group. growth impairment, secondary malignancies. These are all long-term side effects of HSCT. And two major side effects that we are very worried about. One is rejection. That is, we are giving the new stem cells, but the patient's body is not accepting it. Immune system is still little active and they reject that the new cells. So that is called rejection. And another is GVHD. So in any transplant, GVHD or graft versus host disease is a common complication. And especially if we use PBSCs as the source, then there is a risk कि जो donor cell they attack the patient's body and there is a risk of GVHD. So these are some of the complications of bone marrow transplant.
So it is very glad to know that I remember 1974 when I did my MD Pediatrics from Indore Medical College, MGM. It was only general pediatrics. Then we saw the era of vaccination, and now we are seeing in Indore, in our own city, a highly developed pediatric department in Indore itself, with so much of super specialists, young super specialists, not only in medical college, around Indore and in Indore, other hospitals also doing. But it is really proud moment that in medical college, anybody can access without any complication, without any thinking about the pocket, and they can get the facilities in our Indore, and they need not to rush here and there. This is a very good moment that we have achieved at Department of Pediatrics in MGM Medical College Indore. Really, it is surprising. What is your experience then when you have landed up as a super specialist from general pediatrics as a consultant? Now you are on the top of the height, and what is your experience with this super specialty branch of yours?
Yes, sir. So uh, let me also tell you. So there are slowly the number of bone marrow transplant centers are growing at a very fast pace in India. So in earlier years, there were only few, two, three, four to name, but in last 5-10 years, they are growing really fast. And now there are around 114 centers, and many are registered with the ISBMT. And in private centers, this cost of BMT is can go around anywhere between 10 to 40 lakhs or even higher, depending on the complications, on the disease, on the donor. So it is a very costly procedure, especially in the private settings. But to share our own experience, so ours is a very different kind of unit. There are two, three differences. One, that it is, as you said, it is situated in a government medical college. So mostly the patient does not have to pay any fees for the hospital, no hospital charges, no doctor charges, no nurses charges, but still for specialized chemotherapy, for some specialized investigations, they have to pay something, but that also is mostly arranged by CSR funding or PMCM fund. So more or less, it is available or approachable to even the lowest strata of the economy. We have even transplanted Banjara family who keep on going here and there, but they also got transplanted in this unit. So it's a very different kind of setup than others. These are the pictures of our unit. So it is situated in super specialty hospital in MGM Medical College campus. This is the entry, and this is the inside of the unit. These are all the various rooms, isolation rooms where the patients are admitted. This is the inside of a room. This is a patient who's about to be discharged, has been transplanted. And there is a specialty of our team also. So me and Dr. Preeti Malpani, we both got trained with Dr. Prakash Satwani. Dr. Prakash Satwani is a pediatric hemato-oncologist and bone marrow transplant specialist. He is from Bhopal, graduated from Bhopal and Mumbai and now settled in USA. and works in Columbia University. And we trained with him for around 6 months. We developed protocols for our which are suited to our setup, and then in association with him, with his guidance, we are doing bone marrow transplant in our setup. So we are not actually DM pediatric hemato-oncologists. We are pediatricians, and we are doing bone marrow transplants in collaboration with Dr. Prakash Satwani. So this is our team. These are our smart and very dedicated nurses who also were trained at different centers, and now in training to nurses of other centers. These are our in charge nurses. One of the patients who's getting discharged, and then she has made a beautiful frame as a parting gift for our nurses. We have received multiple patients from all over the MP and even from outside MP. Many centers, patients from Nagpur, Bihar, Delhi, they also come. People who cannot afford because of cost anywhere else, they come to our center. So our unit was started in 2018, and till now there's also a separate adult team. There are two adult hemato-oncologists who are doing adult transplants in the same unit. So in the unit, we have transplanted around 140 patients in the last 6 to 7 years, in which 35 are adult and 103 pediatric patients we have transplanted, plus 5 autologous transplants that are not included here. So out of those allogenic transplants, 58 children were suffering from thalassemia, 5 of sickle cell anemia, 23 severe aplastic anemia, 12 leukemias, and then 5 others like congenital megakaryocytic thrombocytopenia, chronic granulomatous disease, and other diseases, MDS. So, this, out of these 103 patients, they ranged from 1 year to 20 years. There were 66% males, and mostly they were from families below poverty line. 80% of the families were below poverty line. And out of these 76 patients had matched either sibling donors or family donors, and others were haploidentical family donors. And in 66% patients, we use bone marrow. In others, we use peripheral blood stem cells as the source. So, all these patients, they face some complications. So the infective complications, majority 52% had some bacterial infections, some fungal infections, viral infections, and even protozoal infections. In non-infective complications, they had mucositis VOD, a disease of liver, 21% had that. Press, acute GVHD was seen in 10%, and chronic GVHD again in 10%. And when we look at the survival data, for hemoglobinopathies, it was close to 90% disease-free survival in matched sibling and matched family donors, where in haplo family donors, the survival is only 50%. Similarly, in aplastic anemia, more than 90% survival in matched donors and 50% in haplofamily donors. So overall survival of our unit has been around 81% and disease-free survival 77%, which is actually a very good number. So there has been a publication report by the reported by the Indian Pediatric Hemato-Oncology Group, and they also found the overall survival at the best centers in matched sibling donors is 78%, and in haploidentical it is 70%. This is their data. So our data is more or less matching with this data. And mortality is 18%, and here we can see acute GVHD, they are reported as 23%, which we have seen is only 10%. And this is because we use bone marrow more than peripheral blood. I would like to share a few of our glimpses of our patients. So she was a girl who had come here for the second transplant. She had severe aplastic anemia. First transplant she underwent with a match with an unrelated donor at Delhi, but unfortunately there was rejection and they had finished all the money. She was from Guna. And then somebody told them that in MP only there is a center. So they came here, and then we used her mother, matched. She was a haplo donor, and then a second transplant was done for her at our center. This patient had come from Dubai actually, and he's a big boy of 14 years, and this was his donor, only 2-year-old boy, and a successful transplant was done. This patient had chronic GVHD, but now when we look at this girl, she has turned into a beautiful adolescent girl. And this family is also special. These are two children of the same family. They had three children. Two had thalassemia and one was normal. So this girl was fully matched with that normal sibling. So we did a matched sibling transplant for this girl, and this boy did not match. So after 3-4 years, this she was transplanted in 2019, and then in 24 we transplanted him using his father as a haplodonor, and both are doing well. This is our eldest child. Obviously, at the adulting do the adult transplants, but she was a 20-year-old girl. She had come to us with aplastic anemia and we transferred. This was also a haplotransplant. She's also doing good now. And this was a 1-year-old child that we had transplanted. And this is the tiniest. She weighed only 7 kgs when she had come for transplant. She had congenital megakaryocytic thrombocytopenia, and her father was the haplodonor, and she also is doing very well now. So these are few of the pictures of the patients who have been transplanted and benefited from our center. So I think
Thank you so much, Dr. Prachi, enlightening all the pediatricians of country that what are the facilities available in our state, in our city, in our country. So proud of it that we are fast growing in India and in our city also, with lot of facilities available in medical field and other fields also. So this is the thing which uh, is to the public, pay little, not pay much, and get the facilities from our own medical colleges is a proud moment, because the cost of living is already high in every aspect of life. So if we get the facilities, definitely it is a proud moment. And the these are the government facilities, and you are all providing and devoting your time to all the patients. Thank you very much for coming to Dr. Tuja Talk Show and giving all the knowledge to the pediatrician and the public. Definitely good. Thanks so much being with us in this show. Hope that we meet again in some other topic. Thank you so much.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.